So thank you all for demonstrating persistence and patience and an ability to stick it out and take advantage of all the different speakers and moderators and information that's been presented here today. The goal that we set out when we started putting this together not that long ago was to help communities become aware of opportunity zones, to give them the information to start organizing and advancing different property and business projects within their backyards, and then hopefully providing you with the tools and assistance to move that forward. So I think that we've accomplished all those goals. I'm going to walk through these here fairly quickly, maybe answer any questions that any of you may still have here at the end of the day, and then we'll turn you all loose to a weekend so you can start preparing for Thanksgiving. So this is closing remarks, and we talked about opportunity zone investments. It's very clear there's a huge amount of money out there, and the fact that it's out there doesn't mean it's coming to your community. And I think that the biggest thing that each of your communities need to be thinking about is how do you make yourself attractive? How do you put together proposals and offerings which will be something that will cause somebody to make an investment in your backyard? It's not going to happen naturally. It's going to require work and time and all the usual things to raise funding. The good news is that this is a fairly serious incentive for certain people to make an investment in these designated areas. And you want to play off of that, but that's only the starting point. A lot more work to go. There are all kinds of opportunities for communities in talking to each of the tables here and there, and also talking with communities across the state. There are well over a dozen common themes, from education to housing to jobs, transportation and so forth, that are all things that may not have been attainable yesterday, where opportunity zone may be the equivalent of last mile dollar to get something done that couldn't be done before. The investment process is a little more complicated than normal because you have to have an opportunity zone fund sitting between the properties and the businesses in order to receive the money in the proper fashion and to capture all the necessary data in order to report that to the IRS, so everybody is all papered up in the right, correct way. Along that path, there are going to be a number of challenges, and these are three of the challenges that I see that you're facing. First off, you're going to be asking people to invest in your community who you don't know, and the only way to really respond to that is start building your own fan base, your own crowd. You're going to have to engage these people in order to create a level of trust and appreciation of what you're doing and what is valuable within your specific community. The further they are away geographically, the less they may know you or know anybody in your community, the harder it's going to be for you to raise capital. If you're in a rural community where you have relatively few people, you're automatically challenged simply by the lack of people to make investments. And it's going to be harder work for you to reach out to the urban areas and find and identify people who share in what you're trying to accomplish at the local level. The second thing is all the businesses and properties have to make a pitch that is competitive with all the other investment opportunities out there. Not talking about opportunity zones, but by and large, our investment community is looking for a high ROI. They're looking for a short-term turnaround. They want no risk. And many of the communities will not be able to offer something that standing alone on ROI is going to make a difference. So what we're emphasizing to communities is start creating an inventory of the benefits that come from investing in your backyard. If it's reducing your taxes because you have more jobs and more taxes are being collected, spread over more people, as one of the tables was mentioning in education, the more people are educated, less people go to jail, which is less of a burden on your community. There is a long, long list of these, but when you go out and tell your story to the average investor, you need to add beyond the ROI all these particular benefits and identify with those people who share in either your social cause or the outcome that you're trying to achieve, or go deep into your own community and reach out to those people in order to get the kind of reward that they need to see in order to make an investment. The last part of this is the 10-year part. In order to get the maximum gain, as been talked about earlier today, you need to put an investment in and hold it for 10 years. The concept of this in the capital industry is called patient capital. It's almost an extinct species within the capital industry world because we've gotten shorter and shorter time frames, instant gratification comes into play, and so you're going to have to figure out how can you make an investment that looks safe today and should be safe 10 years from today. You're going to also want to start looking at creative approaches to maybe creating cash drawdowns or borrowing against the investment in the opportunity zone so that there is some cash liquidity on an as-needed basis or in an annuity format to give you more flexibility and more attraction to people who are not accustomed to making these types of long-term investments. So all in all, you've got a number of extra challenges here beyond the ordinary investment in order to get people to see you, hear you, like you, and give you the money you need to start addressing all the different issues within your specific community. Finally, on case studies, what we're planning to do after this conference is to work with the examples like we had on stage and other projects that each of you may be bringing forward, and we'd like to create a do-it-yourself kit for communities where we can go a deep dive on a specific project, get videos with everybody involved, get a copy of all the documents that were created, the funding, the interaction between the fund and the business and the property, anyone else that's there, so that you can take this and look at it from your community and go, I can do something like this and use this as a starting point, a head start to move forward in doing something within your own community. So this is our next step after this conference is over. There are a number of resources out there. Two of these are ones that I'm associated with. We're running a meetup group here in Denver on opportunity zones. We're meeting about every 2 weeks. It's open to the public, it's free, and you just put in meetup and opportunity zone and you will find it on Google. Our next meeting is next Tuesday, and what we're doing now is a series of deep dives, which are brainstorming projects on individual things that are moving forward, and you saw Venetia Dutra earlier today. We're taking her project in Houston on anti-gentrification, local housing, and communities of color, and we're going to go as deep on that in detail in understanding what we know and what we don't know and improving upon it for the benefit of everybody that participates. Those programs also will be recorded like today's program and posted up online in the event that you can't make that particular program. Second part of this is one of my companies, Invest Local, is creating an open source library on anything we can find on the topic of opportunity zones. 2 months ago, that was very easy to do. We had like 4 documents in the library because that's all that existed. We're now probably going to push past 100 and get into hundreds in the near future. But we're going to focus again on case studies so that people can figure out how to do this in their own backyard. Finally, the website that's been set up by the state of Colorado, Jana, has put together, and more things that are coming in the near future. Jana is also pulling in different programs, different links, and other things to help you find tools and resources that may help you in putting together a project for your community. There are other things out there. All the speakers today have a hand somewhere in working with opportunity zones. I would encourage you to go to their websites and see what kind of resources they're making available because the more knowledge we have, the easier it will be to do this and work within the limited time frame we see to get this done in a hurry. Finally, today's program is recorded by my friend Steve Maltz. We'll be editing this up and getting it out to you soon. I won't give you a hard deadline because we have a holiday shortly ahead of us, but it won't be too far down the road. And you'll be able to get this recording through a link. I'll give a link to Jana and also the 2 links that I shared with you. There's a handout on your table that we put out that says, thank you for attending, and it has a worksheet on the back for investing in a Main Street business. And it has the links that I gave you earlier, and if you're looking for the recording of today's session, there'll be a link posted on both of those sites as soon as it's completed. So that pretty much wraps it up for my comments. I think that you all see the great opportunity that Opportunity Zones presents, but I think you also have gotten a good perspective of the number of challenges and the amount of work that's necessary to do it. But I think that the work will be well worthwhile. I think a lot of communities are going to find this as a unique source of funding that, combined with other types of capital within all kinds of capital stacks, will give you a degree of flexibility and agility in knocking down problems that previously seemed insurmountable. So thank you again for coming today, and have a good weekend.